All right. If you are animating at some point, you're probably going to want to put an object in the hand or attach it to the body of Jonesy in some way, so that when you're animating, that object follows the body, so that you don't have to keyframe it individually. So, for example, if I have a ball like this baseball here, I've got this ball and I want to put it in his hand, and when I animate his hand throwing the ball, I don't want to keyframe the ball in every position so that it follows his hand. I just want to put it in his hand and have it follow wherever the hand goes, and we call that constraining it to an object. And so we are going to, I'll show you how to constrain this ball to the hand. We put it, constrain it to a specific bone in the hand, and that way it follows it wherever it goes, so that when I animate it, it follows. So, and this can be applied with any object, even if it's like a ski on the foot, you can apply it to the foot, and then wherever the foot goes, the ski goes with it. Okay, so if I click on the ball, I'm in object mode. I go up here to the constrain, object constraint, and I'm going to add an object constraint. So in this case, I want to do child of. I want to make it create this parent-child relationship to where the ball is the child of one of the parts, one of the bones in Jonesy's skeleton. So I'll say child of, and it brings up this modifier or this constraint here. And I'm going to select a target. And first I need to figure out what my target's going to be. So I'm going to put it in his right hand right here. And I think I'll just constrain it to this main hand bone here. And right here gives me the name of it. So it's the skeleton, and it's hand.r, so right hand. So now if I click on the ball, get my object constraint, click on target, I'm first going to look for the skeleton, which is down here at the bottom. Skeleton, and within the skeleton, the bone, the specific bone, is the hand R. So I'll find that here, and it's in alphabetical order, but there's lots of bones here. Hand R right there. Now it constrains it, puts that little dotted line on it, and for whatever reason it brought it clear out here in space, but I can just bring it back. So now it's constrained there. I'm going to hit G and bring it back down closer. Ooh, it also made it a lot bigger. That's interesting. Okay. Scale it S. I think it was about 0.9 were the dimensions. Okay. Oops. Okay, I'm going to go in Control Alt Q to go into my 4 perspective mode. That way I can get it closer to the hand a little easier. Okay, so that should be in his hand, or at least close enough. Control Alt Q to get out of it. Okay, now the ball is in his hand and it's constrained to that skeleton, that bone, the hand bone. So whenever I edit, or however I edit the skeletons, it's going to connect and stay there. So let me just do a couple quick movements here. Rotate the arm back a little ways. Bring his arm up. Okay, there's one position. I could obviously make that better, but I won't here with everybody watching. Oops. Okay, now, whoops, that's even worse. Okay, so his arm is in position. Let me just set a keyframe here with the whole skeleton in that position. And then I'll bring it forward, and I'll just do one quick motion, but of course I would want to do several keyframes. I'll just do one. If I bring this forward, let me go into my perspective. I'm going to bring it forward like that. Rotate the hand here. Okay, and right there, he's probably going to let it go. So I will set a keyframe there. Just do available. That way, it kind of gives me the throwing motion. That's not too bad. Okay, now I want the ball to leave his hand at that point, but as you can see, I've animated the arm and the ball stays with it because I've constrained it. So if I click on the ball now, select the ball, if I can get it. Now at that point I want it to leave, but when I click on the ball I get a new set of frames, and I don't have any keyframes here. So now, right about here, the ball is going to come out of his hand. So I'll set a keyframe there, and after that I'm going to come out here and hit my G to move the ball. I'm just going to move it out here. Let me get my perspective view so I can tell where the ball actually is. Okay, I want it to go forward, maybe down a little bit, but not that much, and straight ahead there. Okay. So I want it to end up there. About. I'm going to set another keyframe for the ball, and that way the ball comes forward and leaves the hand. The hand will probably continue to go down, so if I wanted to go back in, and after that keyframe I'll set another one right here and have the arm continue to move forward. Let's see. Down a little further. The hand is probably going to come down as well. And I'll set that location. Now my ball went down with it, so that's a problem. And the reason for that is, well, I can just move the ball up for now, and I'll tell you the reason here in a second. Okay, if I go back into my perspectives on that frame right there, the ball, I want it to come back up. And so I can just move it specifically and set it, or I'll show you another trick here in just a second. G to move it. I'm going to move it back up. Okay, good. So now, there we go. Got the arm motion. It lets go of the ball, and the ball goes flying. Okay, if I want to make any adjustments to the arm, the ball's going to follow it now. So if I don't want it to follow, I can kind of adjust this constraint, this influence right here. Influence at 1 means that it is completely tethered to that bone that I constrained it to. It's constrained to that bone. But if I bring that influence down, and this is probably going to get a little crazy, but it's going to go down to the floor, that means there's no influence on it, and it's just a sphere now, and then I can move it the way I want. Okay, so but that's a little bit more advanced. For now we can just maybe keyframe it to where we want it to go. I'm not sure why the size goes away. But anyway, so the influence is how it's influenced by that hand bone that I constrained it to. So there's a little bit about how to attach it to the bone.